What's up, guys? So it's been a minute. I've made so many drafts of this video and revisions and this and that of this video. Got something on my face. Um, I wanted to say that I don't know if I'm going to be making any more videos on narcissism. I think I've said everything I can say in that regard, and it's been a therapeutic ride for me. It's been a way to explore my feelings on the subject, my thoughts on the subject. It's been a way for me to connect with people and see their feelings and their thoughts on this subject. But I think I've had just about my fill. Now, my fill. That may or may not change, but as of right now, I think I've said all I need to say on the subject. And now, what brought me to this conclusion? I received a message from my mother on the 30th of January. She had been blocked. I lost my phone. So I guess I forgot to block her on the new phone. And, she sent me a message because the 29th had been my father's birthday. So, I guess she saw our window, saw a way to, kind of play on my heartstrings and sent that in, right? So I received it because, again, I had failed to block her. And when I first saw it, I first responded with, "Don't contact me any further." And then just left it at that and blocked her again, right? Then I thought about it. When you think, you get a little pissed off. I got a little pissed off, and I was like, so I went no contact with you 2 years ago because I had begged you for a year to talk about our relationship as mother and child and to talk about some of the rougher patches we've had and some of the things we've gone through. 1 whole year begged you. I'm wearing gloves. I'm doing work. 1 whole year I begged you to talk about this shit. Not, hey, get on your hands and knees and apologize and worship me and kiss my feet and pray to me and call me God. Just let's talk about some of this crazy shit that happened. Let's talk about it. That was ignored, right? So after a while, I felt like, okay, you're getting your jollies from this. You're getting off on this, watching me beg. You have something I want, which is a conversation, and you don't have to give it to me, which is your power, which is what narcs want, right? So I then, long story short, went no contact. So for her to respond 2 years later with "Happy birthday to your dad, I love you," and not even address the fact that it had been over 730 days of me not speaking to her, because I was decidedly no contact, to the point of, and it was not, oh, I just haven't heard from him in a while. It was a very specific goodbye, insert her name, I sincerely wish you the best. So 2 years of contemplation didn't lead you to believe one of a few things. One, I made it explicitly clear that I don't want to fucking talk to you. I don't want to talk to you anymore. You had an opportunity to talk to me. You chose not to. Don't want to talk to you anymore, right? That's one. Two, you know why I don't want to talk to you, and it's because you didn't want to talk to me because you don't want to own up for anything you do. You don't want to be held accountable for what you do, but you do want to run around the world being a victim and pointing fingers at everybody else for how shitty your life is. So you're not a person I want to be around. So how come in 2 years you didn't think of a different tactic or a different approach, right? So, long story short, I thought about it after I sent the "don't contact me any further" message, and went ahead and unblocked her and went all the way in, told her all about destroying my property, told her about how she was inappropriate in front of us with men, talked about how the verbal abuse was pretty much rampant, talked about her lack of care, her lack of feeling, some of the cruelty, many of the stories. I could read it verbatim, but I mean, this is paragraphs of shit that I sent her. And just really went all the way in and basically finished it saying, I'm sorry for all the things that happened to you as a little girl, but none of that shit should have been taken out on me. And it would be really nice if you could stop financially abusing my brother, you know? And then I told her about an incident that she is denied where, full disclosure, and, you know, since I'm closing this channel out, I might as well say it. When I was a kid, my mom and I were traveling on a train to go visit some extended family. During the course of this trip, my mom got up to go use the restroom and left me sitting there. I was like 3. I was like 3, 4. I was little. I was very little. Probably a dumb thing to do because you're a 3-year-old kid. Anybody could stand up at their stop, grab your hand, and walk off the train with you. And, you know, this is 1988. There would be no cameras. There would be no way to see which way I had been taken. I would just be somewhere, you know, on America's Most Wanted, you know, whatever. But she leaves me, and there's this man. Okay, and trigger warning, this is some crazy shit. This guy got up, walked over, sat next to me. I'll never forget what this guy looked like. He looked like a reptilian, like cold blue eyes, very pale skin, bald head, very skinny, odd looking guy, like what you would imagine a pervert would look like. Long story short, this guy touched me, okay? And I remember it very clearly. This guy touched me. And I was sitting there just looking up at him because I didn't really understand what was happening. This guy was doing it openly on the train. Okay, I don't know what other people's response was to it, but he was openly touching me on the train. Now, my mom came back, gasped. The guy jumped up, probably moved to another place. I don't remember much of what happened after that. What I do know is I always thought of it. And years later, I was talking to my uncle. My uncle was the one we were visiting, and he was picking us up at the train station. And what he told me, we were working on a car together, and he was like, yeah, that was a crazy time. He was like, yeah, I almost killed that guy from the train thing. I was like, what train thing, you know? And I knew, but I wanted him to expand. You know, I don't even know how we got on the subject. Probably talking about how he was a fighter. My uncle Kevin was a fighter and a semi-pro boxer. So, you know, he had a lot of stories to tell. And he's like, yeah, your mom pointed him out because I guess we had gotten off on the same stop, me and her and this freak. And so my uncle followed him to a men's room, and we went and stood by my uncle's car, apparently. And he proceeded to beat the ever-loving fuck out of this man. Apparently, he said he beat him real bad. You know, I don't know what all he did to him, but I'm sure it was bad. My uncle was a very prolific boxer and just street fighter. So, you know, I'm sure I got my lick back, whether I knew it or not. But him saying that was so interesting because previous to that, I had spoken to my mom and brought up, hey, I have a memory of some crazy shit that happened on the train. And I'll never forget, she like exploded, like, no, nothing ever happened. No, you were just sitting there and I got up and I went to the bathroom and nothing happened. And in my head, I'm like, that's pretty specific for you to remember if nothing happened. If nothing happened, why would you be so emotional about this? Or why would you deny this? Now, if you feel bad because you got up and left me in my seat, all right, feel bad, but get over it. I mean, it happened. I remember it happening. I don't think it destroyed my life. I fucking didn't know what was happening. When I got older, I knew it was wrong, you know? And I knew it was a bad thing for an adult to do to a kid. But, you know, it's impactful, but I didn't feel like it was like something where she should feel like, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but her response was so interesting. She was so into protecting herself as a parent, even though she was negligent in leaving a 3-year-old in their seat in a train full of fucking people who could have easily walked off with me while she went to the bathroom. Apparently, this guy had enough time to sit down next to me and hunker down and get his jollies, right? So she must have been gone for a little minute, because I don't think you're going to pop up the second the mom leaves. I think if you're some sort of freak and a pervert, you're probably going to look and who's looking and, look for your spot, as I'm sure this freak did, right? So if you feel bad that you left me, that's something you need to reconcile within yourself. You don't then turn around and deny what I'm saying. You don't turn around and deny that this happened to your kid. Wouldn't the correct response be like, yeah, that happened, and if you ever want to talk about it, we can? Right? So long story short, in the long paragraphs after paragraphs after paragraphs response that I gave her when I decided to say some more other than, don't contact me any further, that was the last line I finished with. I put down, and yes, I was molested on that train. You're a fucking liar. And that's how I closed it. And since I've sent that message, I've felt moments of guilt, because I still have that thing where I prioritize the narc's feelings over mine in some ways. And I've also felt righteous, as though, why should I carry this burden and allow you to skate free and deny and shove all this shit under the carpet? Why should I carry this burden, but you're not? Why? What sense does that make when you're supposed to be my mother? But as of late, the last few days, I haven't even felt like thinking about narcissism as a subject, because I really feel like I got it out. I really feel like, as harsh as it may be, and as much as it may not be the way I want to communicate, because I don't want to give people any more ammunition to call me a monster, despite the harshness of the tone, everything I said was 100% true and 100% real. And her ability to deal with it or not deal with it is not my fucking problem. And I finally had the opportunity to get it off my chest. And yeah, there are other stories that I could have thrown in there. I could have, thrown in probably a few more pages of things. But I think I gave her the broad strokes. And I feel pretty satisfied with it. And I really don't want narcissism or the discussion of it or the thinking about it to consume my life anymore. I think I'm really definitely ready to cut that cord. I think I am definitely ready to just not have that be a central focus anymore, to not ruminate, to not give any more of my life to it, because I've already given too much of my life to it. So, long story short, I really do think that going forward, if I continue with this channel, it's going to be probably more societal commentary, which of course will probably include some references to narcissism, because we have many narcs in society and probably always have. But narcissism will not be the focus of this channel anymore. And I want to thank you all who have found any value in this, and for the wonderful and the kind words that you sent me. You have really made me not feel alone in this world. I feel as though I have people who understand. I feel as though I have people, in this viewership who have found value in my words. And there were so many years where I felt like the things I had to say regarding this subject were either just me just being too sensitive, or me being a problem, or me being an issue, me being the issue. And, making these videos and reaching out to you guys has shown me that that is not the case. That's not the case at all. And we all have very similar experiences. So we can't all be lying, right? So, again, I really, appreciate you guys. I wish you the best. Again, the focus of this channel will change, and or it may just stop altogether. I might be ready to focus on maybe some more positive things in my life, and I hope you do the same. Thank you so much for watching. I may not know you in person, but I really do feel like you guys are my friends, and I thank you.